Morning, everybody. Jeff, Ramus, John, DJ Noah, good morning, everyone. Full transparency, I've just exited a trade. I got long this morning on that dip once we reverse. So I was looking at this H1 for a reprice into where breakout retest area right here, nice and simple, where we broke out from yesterday. H1 on a pullback for a retest. So I was looking for a long signal in here and we got it right here. We came down into the 5-day. If this is going to let me draw, we're going to play games today. Apparently we're going to play games. Into the 5-day, nice pivot up. Here's an imbalance which we flipped, so I traded it back upside. Okay, so about 40-50 points I got out of that, and then I covered it into the news. You can see it right here if I pull that up. All right, so once we turned, put in that bull flag kind of move for a squeeze back up into the deep pullback clouds. Now, one thing that has me slightly spooked today. Wrong chart already. It's a good start, isn't it? Wrong chart already. All right, so I took it once we pivoted right here in this level. Okay, 5-day moving average, break here, pivot here, trade back upside. I can go down to a 1-minute chart. You can see this is like a nice bull flag for a trade up into this area. So that's what I took this morning. I can show you the executions. I posted it in Discord. My executions right here. So once it pivoted, I got long for that move up and I took it off into the 10 a.m. news. I didn't want to hold the runner into the news just in case we got heavy. So right now, I'm actually kind of bullish today. I know we sold off, but just looking at the charts, looking at where we've been trading back towards London and Asia range. All right, so we put in this high, failed up here, rolled over. This is an H1 retest and we're coming back to here. So I want to see how we start acting in these areas. Do we pivot up and then go and attack these Asia and London highs? Or are we just going to have a continuation trade lower? The one thing that has me slightly spooked, all right, in this market, ES came down and it's completed its mean reversion. ES came and tagged the 20-day. So ES traded like this and is now all the way through its 5-day. It also went straight through previous day open, previous day close. NQ left these daily levels. There is a buyer on the tape down here at 25. All right, 100 orders just stacked up there at 25. He's been sat there all morning. He didn't get filled. So I was looking, ideally I would have liked this move here, fill him, and then we go back upside. But once we put that in, I had to join it. I'm going to regret not holding through news now quite clearly. So a V-shaped bottom. Remember, we're bullish. Sentiment is bullish overall. Very easy to look at the lower time frame chart. Very easy to look at this and be like, oh, we're in a big sell. It was a big sell overnight. But again, always zoom out. Where are we selling down to? We think of the market as waves. H1 will always be a nice guide for you. All right, leg up, pull back, leg up, pull back. Leg up is what we expect. We only consider higher time frame shorts when we start breaking down under these levels. That will give you a change of character on the higher time frame. All right, so I am bullish on the sentiment for the morning, but it looks like I had the best entry and it's just going to run away from me now. So ideally, we either get a W type move, right? Something back down into here, trap more sellers at the bottom and rotate up, or we get over these levels and start moving back upside. I can delete that. It's an old high. Don't need that in there. Let's get rid of you. I do have my new keyboard, guys, so there might be times while I make some errors here because my hand on the buttons is slightly different. The key placement is very slightly different. So I've already noticed that this morning. Already exited out of trade when I wanted to move something break even. All right, so an extension up here into VWAP. VIX spiked up to 20.36 and got absolutely slammed, trading back down inside the range now. Markets are so bullish. Remember, Google earnings yesterday were a surprise. Obviously not a surprise to the market because they said it was going to be crap and they ran it up all day and then ran it up in after hours. So someone knew about that. Surprise, surprise. I never bet against the Mag 7. Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? It's new as well. It might be the lighting, you know, more than anything, but I try and have it on a yellow light in the morning because it's a bit harsh on my eyes to wake up at 6:30 a.m. and have a bright white light in my face. Morning, Matt. Okay, so just going to wait here now. We're underneath the VWAP. I want to see if we can do some form of pivot here. This is old supply, right? This is old supply on the H1. Right here is where we kept failing, peak above. I want to make sure that this isn't like an island high, that this isn't buyers who are trapped. If this is buyers that are trapped, I expect us to sell back down. Right, so really we need to peak above here and continue higher after doing that H1 pullback into this level here. So this should be blue really to make that make sense. All right, so breakout retest on the H1. That's the first trade gone and done for the day. I did trade a little bit of Asia overnight, so I'm up a little bit of money already today. Nice, Matt. Caught some of the downside trade. Yeah, the trade down overnight was very nice. Really nice clear trend. All right, sell signal stuck under VWAP. Flow zones go underneath the deep pullback, and there's your sells. Constant bear flag, bear flag, bear flag, extension into 5-day. Just need to be careful here. Don't want to be buying high here. It is possible that we use this liquidity here for that trade up, but obviously the nice buy was down here in H1 demand. So this move here would be really good if it would do it. Have to be patient for this today. And as I've said to the room, and you might see me, those who follow me on X or Twitter, I am a little risk off over the next 7 to 10 days. I just have a feeling that the market is very much on edge. Remember, we're at all-time highs on the market. I think QQQ even hit all-time high yesterday. Nasdaq on the NQ, obviously lagging on the futures contract, but QQQ I'm pretty sure hit all-time highs. I'm just going to check that now. Not quite. So weekly, daily, very close, very, very, very close. Only needs another 3 points or so. So yeah, I'm just a little cautionary. Too many factors at the moment, and factors that we don't usually see. All right, you only get election once every 4 years, so we don't know how the market's going to act. Last time we had a limit down and a limit up. So you just want to be cautionary of that. VIX continuing to sell down. ES has traded through all its key levels now. The only thing left on upside is the previous day high. If we're going to do that on the NQ, like the ES, we'll come and attack this level right the way up here. We're just going to give this time to settle down. That's a nice move off the lows, over 100 points. Yes, comfortably through VWAP. I want to see if they do that head and shoulder type move here on the NQ. Right at VWAP right now and the deep pullback. So I don't want to really buy high here. I'm going to let it build liquidity. Maybe it just goes without me. Maybe we create a little flag off these flow zones and go upside. Can put this to a 1 minute if you'd prefer. I know most of you prefer it on a 1 minute. Let's just do that for you. It's a big move on the hourly. We're coming back and testing now the 7 a.m. candle low. And it's always worth watching on the hourly. And remember, we're back testing this area where that was supply before, which didn't hold up as demand. So just want to be cautionary buying in here. The good buy was down here. Cheap buy. That's the buy that I missed yesterday. Same kind of setup. Squeeze straight through now. Straight through VWAP. Do they clear and go? So it looks like that flag is starting to play out. Good volume in that move. ES definitely wants previous day high. Without a doubt, ES is gunning for that. I wonder if banks have been strong this morning. I didn't check the earnings this morning because big tech that I'm really interested in is in the after hours all week. that buyer at 25 is still there. He's still there on the tape. He has moved, probably lightened a little bit of his contract. There is an upside seller at 87. Sorry, at 800 with 87 contracts. Just having a look around on the tape. Not much else. That move yesterday felt pretty calculated to me, that very, very slow grind up. If you go back and look at that M1, M2 chart, how many times did it do a bull trap? How many times did it break down, leave a wick, clear out previous levels, and then go straight back upside? I reckon almost into double digits the amount of times it did that. That was shorts tripping over themselves constantly yesterday. I said it into Discord in the afternoon. Shorts were well and truly stuck yesterday. Very clear move of short stuck, just slow grind up. All right, they never got a big relief to get out. They were just stuck in that add until they blow up. Made it very hard to participate as a buyer. So I didn't participate as a buyer, unfortunately. Do we get that deep pullback now? No close over VWAP for the NQ. Yeah, it's all right, Matt. It happens, doesn't it? It happens. I was the same as you yesterday. As you know, I ended my day with like $4 or something, $7. And then today I'm up comfortably now. Like I always say, you don't need to get every trade every day. The market won't always be kind for you and your setup. Just because other people get like a good trade doesn't mean your setup has been present in the market. That's what's really important to remember. Love a deeper pullback here to get long. It just doesn't feel like it's going to give it, does it? Feels like it might want to just run away right now. Pull back into this kind of area, like a 50%. Down here somewhere, 20s would be nice. I'd be cautionary getting a pullback too low here. I would say that because then you're getting into these low-hanging fruits for targets. So I don't want shorts to take control here, but don't really want to be buying high. Very much like yesterday. Just slow grind up. I don't want to buy high. I want some form of bear trap, some form of right shoulder to form, and then give me a nice bullish pattern that I can get involved in. If it won't do that, I probably won't take it at this level. Not right here, not unless it peaks through and bases above VWAP and old supply. So we think this on the way down was really a drop base drop level, all right? Drop, base, drop. So we need to pump, base, breakout, retest, go. Don't want to just take the liquidity to move lower. Don't want to get trapped buying the highs, all right? Lots of influencers out there getting smoked this week, buying the highs and shorting the lows. You cannot be doing that in this market. There's a lack of momentum and continuation because we are risk off. are right at 50%. From that high that we did overnight, or is that yesterday? No, overnight to the low of the morning, we're sitting right at 50%. So VWAP is basically 50%. Asia high, New York low. That's where we're trading. So we're in balanced range right now. We're not cheap, we're not expensive, we're balanced. I want to buy cheap and I want to short expensive. Or premium, as ICT traders would call it. ES making new high on the day now. It wants that previous day high. That's what ES wants to go for. Why is that changing here? Again, there go my hotkey issues. Sorry about that, team. Yes, very close to previous day high. It's really trying to go here. Potentially have a breakout here. If the NQ can follow on this flag through VWAP, you might get a nice move. Just watch the liquidity. Like I said, you would be buying very high right now. Yeah, it's a softer keyboard, isn't it? Better than the last one. Still figuring it all out though. I would love to make it, it's got an RGB underneath it. I'd love to make it so the hotkeys on the left can be colored. I don't know if I can do that. I'm gonna have to read the instructions. Mr. Amazon decided he was gonna come at like 9 PM last night. So not ideal time for me to install it and read everything. I needed to get some rest and sleep. So ES still hasn't taken a previous day high. Low hanging fruit there to the upside is still there. Again, I'm going to keep repeating myself. You will need to see something play out here. Ideally, this, right? Ideally this. One can hope. But if ES keeps pushing up, it's going to be very, very difficult. It literally tapped on it there. I think it was a tick away. A point away. It was a point away from taking previous day high. There is lots of liquidity above previous day high, all right, into the London session. This is where the London sellers showed up in the ES, not in the NQ. NQ is lagging behind. Nvidia red today, Tesla red today, Apple red today. Apple with earnings later this week. But Google with a nice bump up. All right, Google trading almost at 182. Up 10 points on the session. Smashed its earnings yesterday. Absolutely smashed it. Chips are probably heavy today. I saw SMCI is in some hot water yet again. So I think they had a big sell down. I'm not sure if there was an offering on them as well, which people have been waiting for. So that could also be it. So SMCI with the sell, probably affecting Nvidia, Intel, AMD, so forth. It's louder on those, is it? Okay. I'll try and adjust the mic sensitivity. They wanted to do the same with Intel. What do they want to do? An offering on it or an investigation? Intel really needs to get going. That thing is been dead in the water for a little while now. All right, new attempt for that clear out towards the highs, it looks like. There's your breakout, clear of those stops. Are they going to go and run higher? That is the question. Or is it going to be a clear out and a dunk? Yeah, still not taken. Previous day level, the highs. cautionary if it rolls over here because you're building a lot of liquidity here, so you want to be very careful. This needs to get through and hold. Remember, we're building liquidity this way. That's not good. You want to build liquidity this way for moves up. So this needs to hold here. Oh, they want to break it up, right, for Intel. So yes, cannot get through that level. We have sweat this liquidity here on the Qs. Right here, we've taken it. Can it hold view up here, or are they just going to dunk it? Still think previous day high and just above that on ES is a very low hanging fruit. It should really go and do that. You want this flag to just hold and rip, and then if you're going to take this, you need to have partials here and hold runners for here. Those are the levels you want to be looking at. There we go. Can it get going now for you? Did a decent trade, tried it out on Ultra Bonds using flow zones late UK time last night. Closed it at 3.7 up on your eval. Lovely. I've never traded the Ultra Bonds actually. So they respect it well, do they, Aaron? I mean, the flow zones are just based on basically rolling Fibonacci's on everything, so they should respect it. The thesis on everything remains the same. Like, look at this sell-off. Where did it backtest? Higher time frame. Then we got stuck. Where did it then want to backtest? 5 day. So it goes from low time frame sell, continuation sell, backtest, high time frame algo, which is like an M15 H1 algo. Once it fails that, it's going to backtest the H1 levels and the daily levels. So it basically goes through time frame to time frame, testing where buyers and sellers are. That's the way the market works. Still looking good for continuation here. ES has not peaked out though. I'd be very cautious about this trend we're starting to develop up here unless it can squeeze much higher. Be very careful. There's a lot of buyers in this accumulation range here. So I would not be surprised to sweep it. It doesn't have to. Like yesterday we didn't do it. We would just sweep like one of these and then go. We're going for daily levels now. So this shoulder playing out. Remember what we talked about this morning? This starting to play out. So attack here, the next area would be that previous day high up here. Also on the H1, you need to be cautious about this shelf. There's an imbalance here, and that imbalance is right on this sell. So I would say into 700, 715. If it gets through that, we're going to be fractal, and we're going to build a shoulder here for it move out and up. And the only thing I'm slightly cautious of is the weekly model, if they're going to keep that Tuesday high. But so far we're protecting Monday, Tuesday low, which is good. So we're trading inside weekly range for now. We are lacking room to the upside on the Bollinger Band, so I will say that. So on a daily, if you remember when I look at the dailies, let's get this on NQ. So today, same thing over again. Tagged Bollinger Band yesterday at the highs, traded back, mean reversion to the 5-day, back to the Bollinger Band. On the ES, it traded all the way back to the 20-day. ES has room to the top of the Bollinger Band. Plenty of room on the ES. NQ is struggling, but on the NQ, we are having Bollinger Bands trade upside. So they will allow expansion soon on a squeeze. What is going on here? Oh, I should have held that runner, right? Would have been nice. I just didn't want to hold into the 10 a.m. news. I felt like the risk in the market's too much right now to hold through news. So we went and tapped previous day close, lower time frame algo, tapped both of those. Still in a grind here. We are just in a grind. It's very hard to get involved in this move. ATR has dropped right down. Volume is dropping right down. Look at the volume. Foster Scott, good morning, buddy. You can tell I'm tired yet again. It's so hot, honestly. When my wife's away and I have to do the dog walk at 5:30 a.m., it's tough. It is tough. It's all right for her. My dog, she's gone back to sleep. She gets fed and walked and goes straight back to sleep. She's back on Sunday. She's away for the marathon. Is the dog still having Wagyu? No, not when she's gone. She's not running the marathon. She's teaching yoga for some of the runners. I really would want to see this dunk here. I know it sounds bad, but I want to see it violently pull back and then trade straight back upside, and it won't do it. It feels very much like yesterday where shorts have just been caught again and it's not going to let them out, and it makes it very hard to buy here. I know people love buying off a trend. I like trend days, but I do not like it when we're just trading in a channel like this. I like it when we come and take some of it out first. I want to know the buyers have got run first and run out the money, and then more shorts have got stopped out before I enter a trade. It just makes it cleaner action, at least in my mind. At least in my mind. If you're a trend line trader, then sure, you can trade against this all day long if you want. Yesterday, that would have really paid you. And even overnight, I remember looking at, was it Asia last night, before midnight in this run up. Just a very clean trend from here. Look at that. Super easy. Buy every dip, buy every dip, buy every dip. When the trend breaks, sell every pop. And we go into consolidation sideways and back up. Just really simple. Don't need to overcomplicate a market. So remember, initial balance has now printed. So we are trading at the IB high right now across the markets. All right, so it's just printed now. So technically, you need to respect initial balance. Yes, 60-hour trader. I traded Globex last night. I did trade a little bit of Globex last night, just small size. I hate the liquidity though. I will say I absolutely hate the spread and hate the liquidity. It really drives me mad. So I even wrote in my notes, don't bother. Unless there's a big event, don't bother anymore. It's very rare that I trade it, but last night it felt like we were going to have continuation off Google, and we did. So I grabbed a piece of it. But yeah, lacks liquidity, lacks moves. You know, you'll get limits where it would dangle on you and not fill you, and then you end up marketing and you lose a point on that market. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to trade it. So respect the initial balance here. If we can't break through that IB high, we might want to rotate. VWAP's very, very close, obviously. Right, VWAP's in the upper 25%, I would say, of this current range on the day. Current range on the day, 156.75 points. So far, bull flag after bull flag, higher highs, higher lows, and no sweeps. All right, bear with me. I'm just going to grab some water. Time 7:30. So worst thing about having a watch collection, and most of them are automatic, and I don't have my automatic rotator here with me in Los Angeles. It's back in London. So every time I change watch, I've got to reset it again. It's also not particularly good for the watches. Aaron, no, you don't. On Apex where it says 1 day, 1 pass, you don't. You can take as long as you want to pass those. It just means that you can pass it in 1 day if you want. Right, a lot of other firms you need to trade, like Top Step, you need to trade 2 days. Some firms you need to trade 5 days. So it's just there in case you have that big winner. But try not to focus on that. It's an easy way to blow the accounts. I often do that. I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm going to be aggressive, I don't really care when it's on a 90% sale, for example. I will be aggressive in and I'll try and pass them in 1 day. It's an easy way to just blow through those accounts very, very quickly. Yeah, you don't need to do that. No, I didn't, Foster Scott. Little disappointed in their response to stuff. A little disappointed, but not disappointed for the first time, but it's okay. What I would say is, unless I have a couple decent winning days in the next... When do the rules change? I want to say it's the 15th. Unless I have some good winning days in the next 15 days, there's only 10 of the accounts which are like really close to draw out, then I'm going to have to wait and build those up again. So we'll see. Yeah, exactly, Tyson. It's very easy to do. It's okay if you don't like... The way I see those challenge accounts, if you want, when they're that cheap, when they're like 16 bucks in sale, I'll be aggressive with them. I'll size more in an A plus setup. The problem with Apex is that trading drawdown. So if you size in, you've got to take those wins. You have to bank those wins, because if you don't and you let a trade go 2,000 up and then back on you're in a lot of pain, which is why when I trade my PA accounts, I trade micros. I trade very, very small. The other way to trade that is to trade something like Trades by Matt, where you're using a mini, but you're looking for a 5 or a 10 pointer over and over again. Yeah, I have to have that attitude, Foster Scott. I have to have that attitude and let some stuff go. But it's okay. I'm due like a pretty big payout coming on at least 10 of these. It's just whether I take it in 15 days or whether I have to build it through the new rules. I honestly don't mind either way. I'm not in a rush for the money, so it's fine. What I would like to do is go back to focusing on my Top Step accounts again soon, maybe once I get the Apex accounts in payout. With Top Step, I'm a little more aggressive with how I trade those, and I try and do a set and forget. So I'll trade minis, I'll trade in an area of interest, and I'll look to try and get a full captured move. So holding VWAP here on the NQ, we have not gone through initial balance, so we've traded from IB high to VWAP, although VWAP is very, very close today, like we talked about. So the question is, can we peek through IB high, base above and go, or do we need to set a trap? ES now right at IB high. IB high on ES is also right next to previous day high, worth noting. So is this going to be a new flag? Have they got enough liquidity of shorts in here to squeeze out, get above this and go? Or are we going to stop, run and come down? Those are the two options right now. The problem with this move here is just timing it with ES, because if ES takes that previous day high and dunks back in, it's going to be nasty. I would way prefer ES to have 5-10 point room between the IB high and previous day high, but definitely that draw and liquidity is upside. Yeah, that's it, Aaron. Diversify with firms, exactly what I do, and make sure you trade the firms differently. You can always go straight to funded. My recommended firm for that is TRADEIFY. The link you'll see, the bot will be posting it in chats down below. I don't recommend Fast Track right now. I know I did a video on them and I've pulled that video. Maybe they can sort their issues out in the future, but right now there have been too many occasions of some people not getting paid. I don't want to spread rumors or anything like that, but there's a reason I'm not promoting them right now. I think that model was so good when it came out on Fast Track that they were oversubscribed and it's probably a little too easy to get paid. So I think even PW said yesterday he's owed quite a lot of money from them, which isn't coming. So there's yeah, like either are good, Foster Scott, both are good. It just depends how you're going to trade them. From what I've seen how you like to trade, you could actually trade either of them. You understand your levels really, really well. You're playing those pullbacks and you're joining trend. But Top Step are good. No doubt about it, Top Step are good. The only thing I don't love about Top Step is only taking that 50%. Everyone gets so fixed that you can have these big wins on Top Step, which is true. But after 5 days of 200 or plus more, you can only take 50% of that out. I don't like that. That you basically, they say you can have it all when you get to 30 days. The reality is if you got to 30 days of winning of a decent amount, they just move you to a live and you still only get 50% of it. So There are cons to it once you understand how it works, but they are very, very good. They are reliable, they pay, they don't have lots of rules. If you use TopSec X, the commissions are non-existent. Looking good here for a trade upside here. So popping through IB high now on ES again, previous day high right above. Have to be careful of that liquidity. There is a seller now on the tape on the NQs at 737. So it's got room if it really wants to go. Again, I would prefer a trap if possible. Yeah, Top Step is good. It is good. Had many, many payouts from them. I am probably either going to trade with TRADEIFY or Top Step while I'm away on vacation. Need something where I'm not worried about the trading drawdown. Although my Apex accounts are only a few $100s away, these more recent ones, from getting past the trading drawdown. Top Step X. Top Step X is their platform. So instead of using Ninja, it's their own platform. Basically, it's TradingView. The only issue with it, you can't use your own custom indicators, but effectively it's a TradingView platform, and then they don't charge commissions. So you can trade multiples of 10 on the micros versus minis, which you can't do on Top Step on other platforms. So for example, if you do this 50K account on Top Step and you use Ninja or whatever other platform you want to use, TRADEIFY, you can only trade what is it, a maximum of 10 minis or 10 micros. They won't let you do 100 micros. If you trade with Top Step X, you could do up to 100 micros. They should really be rolling that out for all services, but they obviously want everyone on Top Step X. Probably because they have to pay fees to Ninja and Sierra and all these other people, so it's probably cheaper for them if they can move everyone over. That would be my guess. But it's a decent platform. It's a little buggy. Things like the VWAP and the EMAs move when you move the charts. I really hate that. I've fed that back to them numerous times and they still haven't fixed it. Don't understand why, because they clearly import scripts from TradingView, which doesn't have that issue. But it is a decent platform. I do use it for my Top Step trading accounts, because it's also web-based, which is what I like. So if I'm on holiday, I can trade via the web, put a trade on, leave it, manage it on my phone later that day. Whereas the danger with Apex is they see a different IP address and they get all funny about it. You know, which is what's happened to a lot of people recently. But apparently there's a few firms out there which are letting or charging a fee for you to join with them, and they will trade your accounts for you. And I think that's what's been happening. So I understand why they're checking the IPs. It does make sense to me. Be cautious of a rollover here. I really like this bullish move, but it's very, very tight. You've got to think we've been up here for quite a while now, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes in this tiny, tiny, tiny little range. Something's going to give. Yes, you can, Aaron. You can remote into a system. I just don't love doing that. I think Coop, if he's in chat, he does that. You can also pay a firm to have a remote desk in Chicago right next to the exchange, so you get even faster fills. Foster, Scott, you might really like Top Step X then, because then you can basically it's basically exactly the same, and you can have ATMs. It's basically exactly the same as TradingView. Why would you trade someone else's account? Well, let's say you're a struggling trader and you want to make loads of money, and you've got, I don't know, 10 Apex accounts, 10 150K Apex accounts, and then you pay someone to absolutely send it. You'll be paying them a fee. They're probably charging you thousands a month or something. You know, you see them advertised all the time, like, we'll pass your prop firm accounts 100% guaranteed, pay us $500 or whatever it is. Matt, you looked into offering those services. It's probably the best side of the business to be in, to be honest. Low risk, isn't it? Yeah, on a TradingView based system, yeah. So you set it. The only thing that annoys me, they might have changed it now, I haven't logged into my account. The ATM system on Topset X is cash based. I don't love that. I don't love that. So it's like risking $300 to make $600 or whatever you set it. I'd way prefer that they did it based on ticks so that you can size accordingly. But yeah, definitely worth looking at. I think you might like it. Oh yeah, illegal immigrant. Well, if you're a good trader, you don't need anyone, do you? But we all know most of this industry is full of people that can't trade. Yeah, there you go. I'll check into that, Aaron. I'll check into that. I haven't looked at their stuff for a while, but yeah, I remember them setting it up. There we go. Look at you, Aaron, killing it. Nice. Yeah, I've heard very good things about them over in Chicago there. So back at VWAP yet again, just balancing between IB high and VWAP right now. Oh, Aaron, that makes me very happy. I'm glad, mate. I'm glad you're onto a winning formula. Just stick with it. Be patient, stick with the system. Okay, we're moving into a liquidity building phase. The reason for that is we're going to dance between lower time frame, higher time frame algo. In here, the algorithm will build liquidity, as we always talk about. We are also in a rotational market from IB high. If it fails VWAP, it might do a mid-range, it might come all the way down to IB low. Like we said, we're not really in a trending market until, at least on the New York session I'm talking about, until we get above that IB high. We don't want to buy up here like we talked about. Cannot be buyers up here. We need to build out liquidity, ideally come and sweep these guys and then trade back upside. Don't just be buying that knife down because it might come all the way down, right? So we buy once it's confirmed. VIX trading back upside. It's going to try and fill its imbalance here. So it's trading in a $1. Oh, Aaron, thank you very much. That's very kind of you, my friend. Super kind. Do you get to choose that little, what is that thing saying thank you? Do you get to choose that? I have no idea how any of this works. Aaron having a good day on the bonds, on the ultra bonds. Using the flow zones, what I say to everyone, they work on everything. Even if you're a crypto trader, these will work on absolutely everything. That's super cool. Thank you, mate. So I'm going to just think about a fib now of what this pullback from New York low to New York high might look like. And where are areas of interest? This is where we basically broke out from right here. So I want to see how we react underneath this shelf. Do we trade back inside or do we reject it for continuation lower? Remember, this was a straight shot up. So how we react into here, 660s, is going to be key. 660, 650. Also on the hourly, like we talked about on the hourly, this was old supply. supply, supply, broke through, never retested it, dunked through. Do sellers come back in, or do we base above and go? So far, this looks like potentially, if it retraces back upside, that they'll catch these shorts offside underneath this pivot. But you need to be cautious here, like we talked about. This is why I don't like... Can I get out of this? Can I get out? There we go. These moves up, when we just trade up and trade up with tapering without really doing nice pullbacks, have me concerned. This is the first time we've had a decent pullback for potential trap underneath this liquidity here. All right, but again, I'm going to say, do not buy the knife. You want to see the reaction afterwards, because it can just fall all the way back down inside. We don't know. Oh, I'm on the wrong chart for you. What a dick. All right, so here we go. Liquidity is here. We're watching to see if we build out, sweep some of this, trade inside and go back up, or if we reject it, for that move back down by below. Also, you can time it looking at the ES. ES is trading back towards its VWAP. Probably somewhere into this higher time frame, algo is where ES VWAP is equivalent of. Maybe a little bit lower. So I'm watching for reactions. Yes, right back to VWAP right now. So do we get heavy on the tape? These are big moves, right? Look at the volume. Volume started ticking up on this sell to the downside. These are pretty big moves. Another 10 minutes into a new hourly candle. So far, a little wick being put in here. Just going to check the news, make sure there's no headlines coming out, because we are always at risk of headline news. So US imports of Saudi Arabia crude oil fall to its lowest last week since January 2021. I always check the news on Twitter, and it's always PW digging out Michael Patek. Every time I check the news, that's all I actually end up seeing. Oh my God, those two. Alonso, ES to VWAP. Yeah, that's exactly where it is. So wait and see a reaction here. Do we continue to sell, or do they soak this for a trade back upside? Not in a rush here. Need to see how it reacts. All right, if it's going to react for an upside, we're going to come back into here where we know the sellers got attacked here and then they stop out. Otherwise, it can come back up, reject, break a structure, continuation for the move back down. Pretty good reaction there so far off VWAP on the ES, I would say. Have an imbalance here on the M1. Flow zones are now in a sell, but they probably are not on the slightly higher time frames. Not quite there yet. So see if they all shift. Normally you would expect, unless it's a trap, first bounce to get sold into. If they're going to roll this over, you'd expect the first bounce to get sold into. Like I said, the markets are a little bit spooked in general right now. We're overall bullish on the higher time frame, but we're risk off. We're definitely not risk on bullish when we're coming into an election. It's not like everyone's like, buy, 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 all-time highs, we're going to absolutely send it. If we'd had this week and these earnings without the election, without other noise, I think you'd see the market breaking out and ripping higher right now. There's too many moving parts. So that sell signal so far on the M1, we're underneath that higher time frame. Algo, I would ignore the higher time frame conditions for now. Nothing confirmed yet. Really simply, if this was your trend here, we broke under it. This is all the trend line liquidity. So we've come and stopped all of these guys out. The question is, do we reject or do we trade back upside? Those are the two plays right now. I'm just waiting for confirmation. Because what I don't want to do is buy here. There's no signal for me to buy here and buy a knife and get slapped. And I don't want to short in the mid-range. I'd rather, if I'm going to short, I want to see it build out some liquidity, build out some structure, maybe do this kind of move. Yeah? Never be in a rush to get involved in the market. If you rush, you're probably chasing. Yes, still holding its view up very, very nicely. Still hasn't swept previous day high either on the ES. It seems like a low-hanging fruit to me. It really does seem like a low-hanging fruit trade. We did tap into the underside of London on the NQ. So that trade back upside, the original upside move traded to the underside of London. Is this going to effectively be the right shoulder? Looks pretty good for that trap under the liquidity, doesn't it? Right, so we swept all the trendline liquidity. If we're going to get back above here, everyone who got short on this breakdown, right, everyone, oh my God, come on. Everyone who got short here and added into the lows, if we get back into this range, they're going to stop out and then we have the fuel. Big if, we're not there yet, but we're looking good. I'd say ES looks very good. To also be aware of the potential breakdown flag. So coming into a very, very key area, I would say, into flow zones and VWAP. In the next few minutes, we'll probably be very clear what it wants to do. And ES probably will be the leader here from the looks of it. Maybe because Apple and Nvidia are a bit weaker. I haven't looked at banks today. Maybe they're trading strong. Maybe energies. Haven't looked at the other sectors. Bonds are mixed. Lower time frame, lower rate bonds are all up. Further out bonds are red or flat on the day. New hourly bar coming in 2 minutes. Right, in 2 minutes for a new hourly bar. Here's a question for chat, slightly off topic. I'm considering trading a watch at the moment. Has anyone tried on the Tudor Black Bay monochrome, or has anyone seen the new Harrods edition? Apparently there's only 175 of those coming out. They look really nice. If anyone's seen one of those or tried it on yet, I'd love to know what you thought. I'm quite liking the monochrome. It reminds me of the old 1950, 1960 Rolexes, which I really like. Oh, it's just a watch. I've got a bit of a watch obsession. All my all my money gets spent on watches, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a type of watch. I think it's because I grew up with my grandpa watching Bond films from a very young age, so I've got a bit of an obsession with Bond. Yeah, it's the sister to Rolex. It's the original designer of Rolex who moved over and created Tudor. So anything that I see in the Bond films, anything that I like or reminds me of vintage Bond films, I end up buying. Pretty much all my watches are like that. Yeah, the monochrome's sick, isn't it, Matt? Really sick. I really like it. I've got a 58 on at the moment, and I'm thinking about trading it in. So do they hold this imbalance here? This is the question. If they hold this level, the short-term low that we've put in, it opens itself up for a potential squeeze. All right, if they hold this imbalance right here and trade back through VWAP, it opens itself up for a squeeze. There's two trades on the table here. It's going to become clear soon of what it wants to do. Oh, lovely, Melanie. It's a nice gift. I've only ever been gifted a watch once, and that was from my wife for my wedding day. Do you know, Matt, the watch stores in Vegas, I don't know if you're ever interested in buying a Rolex, they're one of the few places where you don't need to have a good relationship with the AD. You can probably walk in and buy a decent Rolex. This is on the 1 minute at the moment, what you're looking at, Alonso. That's on a 1 minute time frame. Only because most people in chat request it. I actually prefer this on a 2 minute time frame. I think it's way cleaner to read. But most people like the 1 minute. They're not far away. Maybe we get a manipulation down. Could also be the trap underneath this. Could also potentially be nice. You see that higher time frame, how key that became. This old level, traded under, held, traded back to, old level, stuck in it now. Became key. Always, always, always focus on the higher time frames. Look at your hourlies, look at your M15s, look at your M5s. Look at the locations of those. Look at the momentum in those charts. Gets way, way easier. If you focus on the M1, you will get faked out over and over again. So we're just dancing between that short-term pivot low that we've put in and that supply that we put in this morning overhead, basically at VWAP. Once we clear through some of this, either way, the direction is going to become very, very clear. I do like the upside move. I'm going to be honest. I still think the draw can be higher. It's just whether we can get involved at a good point. Like a sweep of a low and a turn back inside for that micro inverse head and shoulder could be a tasty trade. I'm not going to fight it if it doesn't turn back inside though. Momentum for the last 10 minutes or so has been downside. Maybe a little longer than that, 15 minutes. And we are in a balanced part of the range. We're in about 50%. It's interesting how everything held its 5 day this morning, right? On the ETFs, I don't know if you can see that. The lower ones, I don't think you can actually see it. Let me flip this to higher time frame. These ETFs, both 5 day, 20 day, 5 day. Everything is getting soaked. High time frame traders are still participating as buyers in this market. Definitely choked that trade earlier though. My first entry was at 582, and then I added at 599 for the push through 600, and then added it 600, and then I started trimming some into 23s right before the 10 a.m. candle, so 2 minutes before the 10 a.m., which really was lackluster, and I could have held for another 100 odd points, 75 points. It's disappointing. I hate holding through news. I really hate holding through news. So bear flag here for a trap potential, or if they've caught enough and they're going to hold this imbalance, we just trade back upside. One of those is going to play out. We're just going to wait. Volume has really tapered off. Look at the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes or so. It's really started to taper off. Needs a break here to have increased volume come into the market. If they sell this down without an exchange of volume, it's going to be a bit sus. Yeah, I mean, I knew it wanted to trade upside cap. That's why I was taking the longs this morning. But I hate holding into news. It is just not something I feel comfortable doing. Reality is I could have moved my stop break even, left that single contract on, and let it go for another 75 points. But I hate it in news because if it's violent and it goes through your stop, even if it's break even, it could feel you 20 points lower, you know? When it gets thin and spready, had that happen many times before in my past. So ES rejecting that top range. ES kind of come back down and test towards VWAP, it looks like. So maybe this bear flag starts breaking down here. Question is, do they trap on the head or do they rotate all the way back to the IB low? And just so you remember where everything is. Momentum is definitely on the lower time frame, is in a sell right now. In the higher time frame, I'd say we're pretty balanced. Just looking at the H1, we're very balanced where we are. No break of structure there for either market. Both soaked. Starting to look a little squeezy here. Midpoint of the session is 621. Might as well call it 620. That's your 50% of the session. Do they break down this bear flag then? If ES can get under VWAP, then I think we have this move down potentially. I do live near a fire station. Yes, I do. It's over the road from me. They seem to always be busy when I'm on stream. I'm also like 5 minutes from the beach here as well, so they're active. Not too far from the PCH. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. So ES trading VWAP, breaker structure here for this bear flag. Might get that continuation or that trap. That's what we're looking at now. So momentum still downside, lower time frame. ES trading back towards daily levels though, right? Previous day close, previous day open are right beneath VWAP on the ES. So the charts are very, very different here when you look at the dailies. They're positioned very different. We are inside initial balance, so we could just be in a rotational day. My gosh, cannot stop yawning. I'm so tired that I'm feeling cold. I'm not far. I'm in a place called Playa Vista, Matt, which is sort of between the two, really. One over from Venice, one before Manhattan. They call it Silicon Beach. All the tech companies are here. So next to me, you've got Google, YouTube, tons of film studios, stuff like that. Midpoint here then. ES held that daily level, trying to reclaim VWAP. Why is it saying 6? I haven't pressed anything. Yikes. So far just dripping down off this bear flag, right, since the sell signal. So there's liquidity here. I'm interested in if they hold something down here or if they rotate. Let me just check point of control. Put that on, yeah. So we are underneath point of control. Value area low is around 600. So if it wants to test value area low, it can come down to 600. Momentum definitely in a sell for now. Tasmia, I don't know what you're talking about there. In Apex can position pattern 1 4 1 1 4 4 3 1 4. I don't know what you mean here. Nice, Scott. What is that entry? 74.50. So that's nice. Nice breakdown of that flag. Looking for the continuation. Just watch these daily levels that we're trading in here. Into PDO, PDC is where you're at here. And then you've got that old pivot shelf at sort of 66, Scott. So see how it reacts there. If it wants to fill the imbalance, can trade down towards 60. If it wants to do that full rotation, you got that 5-day, 20-day IB low. But so far looking pretty good, just following that momentum. Well done. Same deal as yesterday. Remember, we have earnings at the bell, so the afternoon might get a little bit weird. Yeah, most of the market's pretty balanced here, Alonso. Right in the mid-range, pretty balanced. But definitely since we put in that high at the IB high, right, rotational days, what do we talk about? IB high, rotate to VWAP, then midpoint. If we start failing, we can come back down towards the IB low. So far we are in a rotational day. We're definitely not in a trend day today. So how many of you didn't know about initial balance until you found me? How much easier does initial balance make it to have set rules between rotational markets and trending markets? I think it makes it way easier. Once you understand that, way easier. Auction theories are very, very powerful. So ES knocking on the door, back of VWAP. Can it trade back upside and through it? I've been cautious here. If this is the trap, this is what I'm thinking about. And I was talking about, if they start to trade upside here, they can use this liquidity. There's nothing confirmed yet, but this liquidity here, if they start to trade upside, it's this liquidity here that will become the fuel to trade higher back towards that IB high. ES will need to get and base through VWAP for this to become a valid trade. Yeah, exactly, Noah. I agree. That's right, Scott. I think that's wise, mate. It's very, very wise, just watching how it's reacting. We don't know what it's going to do yet, but this could potentially be the head. Celebrity trader. Definitely not a celeb. You should just call me the has-been. The once upon a time trader. It doesn't mean there's no upside, DJ. It's just waiting for that confirmation. Basically, what I'm saying is there's nothing to say that this can't bear flag and trade continue back down. But if we can trade through here, we know that this is a sensitive area, right? And if we can trade through here, that's what opens the door for upside. I do like what came in here, volume-wise and imbalance-wise, looks pretty good. Looking pretty good here as well. Volume coming into this drive up. They just need to pivot though. They need to pivot higher for it to confirm. Well, you can always start with a very, very small size DJ, but best to wait where possible. If we start to flip the flow zone, can't talk. If we start to flip the flow zones, it'll become obvious. Tasman, I think you'd be all right with that. I think you'd be all right with that. Because the argument would just be your position based on the trade. I think what they don't want to see is you trading like 1 micro, 2 micros, 1 micro, 1 micro, 10 minis, for example. That's what they're trying to avoid. I think this looks pretty good for a squeeze out here, starting to potentially set up. As long as it holds that short-term low that it's put in, it needs to start getting back above the flow zones. Yeah, no worries. I think it's a ridiculous rule in many ways. They'd be better off just saying a max contract size, because you should really be sizing based on your risk parameter. So if you have a really tight stop, you can use more size. If you're running a loose stop or a bigger stop because volatility is up, you've got to size down. So like their thesis on sizing, it doesn't work in realities of trading. You know, there's some days where I use tiny size because we're very volatile and I need to give 50-point risk. There's other days where I can use 10-point risk and I can use 30 contracts, for example. And that would be my argument with them if they ever push back. No one in their right mind ever sizes the same in every trade. Not really. Not unless you're a scalper that's, you know, looking for 10 points set every single time. 10 points, 10 points, 10 points. And you got a set risk. But that it's not really good trading habits always doing that. So starting to potentially set up here, potentially starting to set up. It's still a very sensitive area. Looking very good now. I want to see it really trade through 57s to 65s. Get through this area here as well would be very nice. But I'd be looking for all dips to hold and a squeeze straight up and then continuation. And ideally flow zones start to flip, support it, and we get 3 VWAP and we just go and attack all this stuff. But looking very, very nice now. The pivot has happened right here. Push, pull, hold, nice. Want to see continuation now. Something like that. Very nice, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, don't worry, 60-hour trader. We all have bad habits. Just try and journal and figure out what they are, and then see if you can put something in place to start one by one getting rid of them. Normally, people's bad habits are either chasing in, adding to losers, oversizing. Those are normally the three things in people that I've worked with. This trade's looking very good right now. Can we get up to VWAP? Looking good. I'm up very nicely here now. Would love to see a squeeze straight through VWAP. Don't really want to see a hesitation. I know that the shorts are now trapped. This is everything I was looking for. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm trying not to take this off. I'm going to try and let this work. Looking at the next pivot up into 700s. Maybe I'll sell just before that. Come on, squeeze straight through VWAP here, please. Entered right at 41, right here, once we put in this, right here, once we got back through. Right here, yeah. VWAP tap. Trying to hold on here. I'm going to move my stop into the money, comfortably in the money here. I'm actually going to move my stop up right under that last wick low. If it takes me out, that's all right. I can always re-add in. So squeeze through VWAP would be ideal. Stop's right at 63 now. Okay, so I'm going to lock in money no matter what. So I'm going to lock in 20 points no matter what. I know it's a tight stop, but I can always add back in. That's just what I'm saying in my mind, because we've left a big imbalance. I don't want it to come all the way back down on me. I want it to protect that M1 swing low. Beautiful. Beautiful extension here. Moving my stop up, taking me out. Out. There we go. Got out on that extension. So we got what we wanted. Question is now, can we get back through initial balance high? Does it need to pull back further? How do I get involved? But looking good. So I only had one on there, but if you're in this, just hold your runners now. You look really good for a rotation. Remember, ES still hasn't taken out previous day high. I expect ES to come and take out previous day high and the stops above that into 86.25. Lovely. So we can do the same thing here. If we are going to do this move, we're going to look for this. Okay. Remember all that we've done today. This was a reprice of H1, push, pull back. We had to wait for the timing. Now we're going to try, we were trying to get to here, and then we can look for a new trade thesis for upside potential. Remember, we still have London, Asia to trade up towards. Right, we're at London low. If we get through London low, we're going to attack these pivots up here. London high, Asia high. Hopefully that thesis all made sense for you. I tried to make it make sense nice and early. I told you what I was looking for. You could have even done something very simple. Again, you could have just done a trend break or a trend break, however you wanted to do it. This is really where I entered. I wasn't playing the trend break, I was playing the pivot, but it was the same thing. All right, so this here was the low. We pushed back, we manipulated under, we got back through that. This block here, I bought above this white candle for the move back upside. Really simple. I bought above the white candle. I didn't buy dips into here. I bought the momentum once it came in. Yeah, one more trade would be really nice. So ES, again, failing its IB high. I really think ES wants to pop through IB high, through the previous day high. It's just how we can get involved. How can it do it? Want to see this hold 63-ish on this pullback. Yeah, exactly. It's looking pretty good here. Feels like it just wants to rip higher. So you see how important it is to A, have a thesis, and B, be patient. My thesis all day was to look for longs. I called it in the Discord. I was looking for longs on the pullback. Both my trades today, by the way, were exactly the same. This was the sell-off. Once we pivoted up and did this move here, I got long, sold into this. Sell-off. Pivoted up, this move here, long into this. Repeatable pattern. Lots of you are going to be like, oh yeah, but you didn't wait for the shift of the flow zones. You're right, I didn't wait for the shift of the flow zones. You're absolutely right. I came in earlier, but I'm doing it because I know when momentum is stepping in, based on volume, how we're acting, the areas of interest we're at, the higher time frame levels, I'm getting in slightly earlier. I'm not joining up here. You can join up there, but I'm already in by these points. This is often what you'll get in a rotational market, and I want the best possible price in a rotational market. Oh, that's funny. I'm really sorry, but what an idiot. Okay, so I'll say it again. This morning, I was looking for longs. I'm going to go to the high time frame for a minute in this retest level. Breakout, retest. Once we got to that level in the lower time frame chart, which was here by the 5-day, we did a big sell-off. We pivoted above this level, right? Here, flag, entry, long. That's what I took. That's exactly the same trade I just took now, the same model. Traded back down to an area of interest. What did I say? 600. 620, 600. So break of structure, late shorts come in, trend, pivot above, flag, reclaim flow zones, trade upside. It's the same trade. I've taken 2 trades today, both winners, identical trades. I'm not bidding, I'm not trying to buy this. I'm waiting for those guys to get stuck, trade back above them, then I'm buying that. Hopefully that's super clear. I know, Ray, I'm so bad with the charts, aren't I? I'm terrible. I'm really sorry. Yeah, Tasmia, I had something similar. Don't stress out about it. Don't go on tilt. Don't blow those accounts. Take a breather. Come back, trade another 8 days normally again. You'll be absolutely fine. You will be absolutely fine. What about the current level, 663? Well, right now we're coming back to test these guys here, right? Want to see buyers step in here. So something like a W in here for a trade back up. If we start failing, because you can do a fib, remember, you could do a fib from this to this, is probably a golden zone, 50% pullback of this move. Want to see buyers step back in here. If they don't step back in here, then we're going to trade back downside. So you're looking for me, I'd be looking for a bullish pattern in here. And if it doesn't happen, I'd be very concerned that this was nothing more than a squeeze out. And ES again has failed its IB high. And that we then under here, right, this would be confirmation of a short under here to trade back down. But flow zones now are starting to get a bit choppy and sideways, right? This is because multi-time frame traders are now trading against each other. Remember, we're trading between lower time frame, higher time frame, liquidity build. Flow zones don't really know what they're doing right now, so you've got to be very accurate with your signal. But I still think this could basically be breakout, retest. They're stuck here, so I want like a W, all right, or something like this. Don't buy weakness. You don't buy weakness in these markets. Thanks, South Cat Dad. Touch and go, to be honest, mate. A little bit touch and go. Treatment might have started today for chemo and radio. Yeah, I had the rest of the tumour out last Tuesday, but it was pretty aggressive to remove part of the organ, so Dad's been in a little bit of pain, to say it lightly. Been in a lot of pain. But thank you for asking. Appreciate the support, everyone. Very easy for me to go on tilt with the everything going on right now. Very, very easy. So if this holds here and puts in a W, I'd consider a long again. About 20 minutes left on stream. I still think, I'm going to repeat it, I still think ES wants to go and take that previous day high and above. I think it is low hanging fruit to go and do that. I really do. ES looking very good. Repriced, held. Really think this wants to go higher here. I really, really think this wants to go higher. Whether it does it or not is another thing, but my feeling is it's very clear. Walk down, it's a two leg on a 10-minute or a 5-minute on the ES. It's a two-leg move down, a push back up, a reprice down to check buyers are there. They've showed up. Now, in theory, this should just go upside. Can make this clear. All right, we can even take these off if you want. Just make it simple. 1, 2, breakout of trend, retest, imbalance, buyers have shown up, should trade up here now, in theory, above its IB high, above these levels. IB high and previous day high, should just run all those stops. So Foster Scott, I know you're long. I think you look good. I know you flipped from short to long. I think that's really good. That's a great sign of a good trader. You tried the short, you had your thesis, you moved your stop down, stopped you out, and now you flip long. Just trade the chart in front of you. It's good trading. but I would very, very much consider partialing out into between IB high and that previous day high, and then hold the runners for the stop run above previous day high. I would just be a little cautious. If it pops through previous day high, runs the stops and trades instantly back downside, be cautious. Here's previous day high right now, banging on that door, should run these stops over. Literally tap previous day high there to the tick. So, and then you want to be holding your runners through this. There you go. So now it's popped those stops. So the next lot of stops are up at 86 flat. You get through those, there is a flat top at 93, and it can get there. Here you go. So there's 86. So I don't know how many you've got on, but try and hold your remainder. If you've sold through these levels, through previous day high in 86, the next level really is all the way up at 93. All right, so if it can get through 86, you should be thinking about 93. NQ lagging behind today, lagging behind because Nvidia and Apple are weak. So I'm going to assume energies or banks are strong today. Probably banks would be my guess. Like, this is what you don't want to see on ES. You don't want to see it trade back underneath this initial balance. So hopefully you got some partials off on that stop move up. So trading, when you're not emotional and when you're effectively a slave to the charts, when you do what the charts are telling you to do, can become much, much easier. It's when we get emotional and we get fixated on what we think, not what the chart's showing us, it gets harder. Yes, definitely offered a very nice trade there. Very, very nice. I don't think we could have got much more on stream today, guys. I think we did a pretty good job there. I think we did a pretty good job today. We got most of what the market has offered us, and we were patient for it as well. Yes, still holding that IB high for now. How long for a new 5 minute? Another 2 minutes. Want to see this 5 minute extend and close high, because then it gives you room. It has popped all the stops, but I want to see it extend just for you, Foster Scott. I want to see it extend straight up and close high, and then it can offer then the pullback on the next 5 minute bar, and you're comfortably in the money. Yeah, exactly. It's looking good here, though. It's starting to build. You've got another minute on this 5 minute bar. Yeah, Labisque, way prefer the 2 minute. I do way prefer the 2 minute, just a little less noise. But really, my main two charts I'm looking at most of the time are 5 and 15, if I'm honest. Who's this blowing up my phone? So nice close above previous day high there on this 5-minute bar. So what that allows is this next pullback can hold this 5-minute bar sort of open, close, low area for the last two 5-minute blocks and extend if it wants. That's why I wanted that 5-minute bar to close high for you. So it looks good. I think you look really, really good here. So if you think of that 5-minute chart, all right, with that sort of breakout, can pull back on the IB high where all those wicks were, where all those sellers were, they are going to become buyers. If it gives them the chance to get out break even, they're probably going to take it. That's more fuel to go higher. There's more fuel to go higher. The same thing really needs to happen for NQ, which is lagging right now. NQ needs to get above here, turn these sellers into buyers, and then go. That's what ES is already doing. So here is potentially the retest on the ES. So it did clear out all the stops. So you'd want to see this hold the initial balance. So you should be at a runner level only here. Again, the only thing is that the NQ is relatively weak. Yeah, it's always tricky that, isn't it? It is always tricky that, looking to buy higher but I've read his books, buying higher in strength. Buy more, yeah. Buy more in strength. It is the right thing to do. You add to your winners. But I mean, you need to see this really base and show. What I don't like is that it swept all the stops other than whatever that top level was I talked about. Was it 92, 96? I've got to zoom out again. 93 was none of the ones I said. 93. But until then, it's popped pretty much everything else. Maybe could have gone a bit further through 86. Would have been nice for you. Yeah, you'd want to see this really hold this initial balance. It left a volume imbalance just before it between 81 and 82, which is a good sign for continuation upside. Boom, Tyson back to winning ways. Love to see it. Love to see it. So I haven't asked the last few days. Do me a favor, team. Everyone absolutely smash that like button, hit subscribe. I would really like to start growing this stream. We seem to be stuck at a similar kind of level. So I don't know how to go about doing that. But if you can share it with your friends, share it on Twitter or Instagram, anything like that. Anyone that you think is going to be interested, it can help me out. It really helps the channel grow, which would be great. And that sale is on for another few days or so for the course. I really like how ES looks here. If NQ can get going here as well, looks good. Looks really good. NQ holding that higher time frame algo on that last pullback, reclaiming flow zones in a buy signal. It needs to get through the lower time frame algo, previous day close, and IB high. All right, previous day close right here, IB high right here, low time frame algo here. So what we're looking for, same thing, over and over again, same pattern. Needs to get going. Oh, thank you, 6-day hour trader. Appreciate that. Latest Tyson, have a good day. Good work. Good work. Nice green day. So you got 1 minute until this new 5-minute bar closes. Then you got 10 minutes into lunch. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good for 750 and 800. Those sellers are sat there. Yeah, it's my favorite time. Foster Scott's my favorite time. I think it just becomes a little bit more predictable. Here we go. Here you go. So stops officially run now on ES, so 93 next target. Beautiful hold of that IB high, previous day high. Lovely, there you go. Nice move on the ES for you. So you want NQ to get through this lower time frame algorithm here. Algorithm's been working hard all day. Right here, right up here, look at this push right into low time frame. Why does it do that? Out of the blue, out of nowhere, just stops working. So low time frame, still a sell signal for now on the market. So we're stuck between high time frame, lower time frame, building liquidity on the NQ. I'm talking about very specifically on the NQ. Yes, nowhere near it. But on the NQ, they keep selling into that lower time frame algorithm. They've sold into it all morning long in the New York session. Oh my God, this camera. There we go. Do I make X posts under NQES? I used to use TweetDeck when trading SPY IWM options. Not sure if TweetDeck's still working. I don't think TweetDeck is working, but yeah, I do post and tag NQ and ES when I do. So the only thing going against you now is time. It still looks good, but it's time. We're running into lunch. So you'd want to see this get moving, violently get moving before we get into that new hourly candle. And you want to see this hourly candle really take out that last hourly candle's high on the NQs, which would be your initial balance high. You'd want to see this candle do it right here, right now, really into that lunchtime move. So they're adding on the tape upside. I wonder if they drag this up now. 700 just came on the book. Everything looks bullish to me. Again, the only thing I don't like is the time of day. Foster Scott, I've just seen your image. Looks great, mate. Looks really good. Really nice execution. Are you still on in those communities, or did you get kicked out of there now for doing not what they do? I guess I don't know how they work. Oh Jesus, really sad, isn't it? Sad, man. I don't get it. There's enough room for everyone in the industry. It's really bizarre. Just be careful here, because time of day, like I said, key. If they start taking profits into lunch, it's just a bit tricky. And NQ really needs to get going here to help you. If the NQ can get going, show a little bit of strength, it will help the ES. Basically, you're looking for a rotation in the other sectors like tech to help ES out a little bit. So the danger is that you take that liquidity at 86, which we've done. You popped 86.75. If you get beneath IB, it's a little cautious about steal of liquidity and a trade back down. You were threatened. Wow. I just don't get it. I don't get involved in any of that stuff. They attacked me when I first started the Discord room, even before I did YouTube. I got attacked because I don't know what I'm doing, just because Dan did a tweet about me. It's madness. Madness. There's so many ways to trade. I don't understand why people get obsessed that it's just their way. Everything works. Malaysian SNR works. Smart money works. EMAs work. I'm sure, I don't know Algobox, but I'm sure there are times when Algobox works. Everything works. It's just, all that trading is understanding your setup and defining risk. That's all it actually is. It doesn't matter what the setup is. I could flip a coin right now, 50-50. As long as my risk reward is correct, I might win that trade. There's no point like hammering on other people. Yeah, risk management, exactly, Matt. That's all trading really is. It's risk management. Can you stop out of the trade? Hardest thing to do. Do you know when the trade is invalid? So you got 90 seconds until that new hourly bar into lunch. That's what I'm saying. Just be very cautious. This is only thing I don't like right now is the time of day. The fact that NQ has not helped out ES is not useful. Yeah, still working on it. We're all still working on that, trust me. Matt, that never changes. Because as you become a better trader, you'll start sizing up more, and it gets harder and harder to eat those losses. Which is why really you want to move your screen from showing like P&L to showing ticks. The in front of their handle. Is that right? I didn't know that. I didn't know that people did that. Yeah, sizing up's tough. I struggled with small caps when I started sizing up. I really struggled. Oh, I love it. That's made me chuckle. Okay, back to IB here on ES. You've got a new hourly bar here, so just be cautious now. If they want to dunk this because we're into lunch, they will. Yeah. I was going to do it. What's the date now? I was going to end it Monday, but I tell you what, because I think you're the second or third person in stream. Should we extend it a little bit, and then we can look at, if you haven't done it by then, we can always look at finding an option for you. Let's extend it to, where's that Sunday? Maybe like the 17th. And if that doesn't work for you, Kat, just drop me a message on Twitter and we can always sort something out. So still holding that IB high, very good on ES, still holding it. Danced beneath previous day high to IB high, and it's soaking. But NQ not looking so pretty here, but it's on VWAP. But again, the problem is time of day. It is the time of day is the issue right now. Can they get volume in the market? Do they start taking profit? Are they gonna slow down? We have more Mag 7 earnings tonight. All right, we have more Mag 7 earnings tonight, so it really depends on those. Let me just have a quick look. Earning whisperers. So tonight at close, Microsoft, Meta, Coinbase, Robinhood, Etsy, Roku, Carvana, Starbucks. Big day in the market tonight. So the question is, and I'm going to have a quick look on the side chart now. What did I say? Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft has gapped up big time. Probably off the Google earnings, which were unexpectedly good. So Microsoft will be looking to break out of 442. Yeah, 442 breakout on Microsoft opens the gate up. There is gap fill potential up to basically 450s, and then above that all the way up to 470s. So if they don't take profit on Microsoft and they keep running it up, maybe the NQ gets going in the afternoon. Let's have a look at the other ones which are big in tech. Meta. Same story for Meta, all right? Meta gapped up and is running higher. It's done a gap fill and it's running higher. And it's near all-time high. So Meta, you're looking for a 603 break. Will be blue sky scenario and run up. So again, if they start bidding that up in the afternoon session, expecting Meta's earnings to be good, following the pattern of Google's earnings being good, then the NQ might eventually join in. If they keep trimming, this is the thing, if they keep trimming and selling, if they bid up and they're going to take profit, bid up, take profit on Meta and on Google all afternoon until we get the earnings, it's going to be really hard for NQ to have any more upside. Yeah, I watched AMD, so that's mad, right? Because they actually beat really well and guided really well. Where are they at today? They got absolutely decimated. So AMD traded back to the 20-day, right? Got soaked off the 20-day. The thing with AMD is it had that gap fill. That gap fill from Friday to Monday was massive. So all it really did on earnings was go into that gap. But I think I remember when it came out, I was watching it. The earnings were good and the guidance was really good. Let me just find that. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets soaked. Unless it's just been baked in too much. Double beat on earnings, absolutely smashed it. 1 billion more revenue than expected. Forecast 7.5 billion revenue, but Wall Street wanted 800 million quarter-on-quarter growth, so not enough growth apparently. Maybe we're just peaked out, might just be too baked in the AI sector, but we'll see. But yeah, his earnings were pretty good, it's just the reaction wasn't great. Which is probably why you've got Nvidia selling down today, and then obviously SMCI as well. So the chips weak today. When the chips are weak, it's hard for the Qs to get going. But here you go. maybe now we're going to get going on the NQ. This looks really good. So another bull flag into VWAP. Still have these levels here that it wants to attack. Low hanging fruit levels that it wants to attack. ES is still above that IB high. If Qs go here, ES will go, right? Because tech's been weak today. If the Qs get going and rip that IB high, ES will go and it'll start doing that move for you. VIX now is trending down as well. It's about to take out its pivot. If VIX breaks beneath 1940, we can trade down to 1930s and then that old wick down towards 1906. Q's looking better here. Just got to get through this lower time frame algo. It needs to get through and hold above, right? Resistance, get through, base, get through, base, get through. And then by this time, you want to be out on ES. That should be enough juice for ES to do the move. But on that note, team, we're into lunch. Time for me to get some food and get a lift in on the day. Hopefully you had a good session. Hopefully you got some of those trades with me. Hopefully you're still in some runners. I know some of you are. And we will be back tomorrow. Same time as always, 10 o'clock. And we'll see what the market gives us. Please be cautious into the afternoon session like we just talked about. Big earnings coming in the afternoon. You might get some volatile moves, right, as they start to hedge positions. Very much like yesterday, we got some volatile moves towards the close. So just be careful. Remember, the next week of your life is nothing in your career. It's absolutely nothing. And the next week, you'll only get this every 4 years. So just be careful, okay? Don't go and ruin all the hard work you've put in for the last weeks, months, years, because we've got an election and we don't know what's going to happen. Just be careful. All right, until next time, please, please, please use hard stops. Love you all for turning up every day. Hope you have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace out.